will be basketball in Hartford tonight, but the victims of the Newtown tragedy continue to be on our minds and in our hearts. And we greet you tonight with a heavy heart. The impact of this tragedy is felt throughout our country, but Sandy Hook Elementary is less than 50 miles from Hartford, so it hits painfully close to home. There have been numerous vigils and tributes to the victims, and we begin tonight at the XL Center with a 26-second moment of silence to honor the children and teachers who were lost on Friday. Since Friday's tragedy, there has been an outpouring of love and generosity. UConn has established a memorial scholarship to honor the victims of the school shootings. To contribute, visit friends.uconn.edu/Sandy Hook or text the words UConn Newtown to the number 50555 to donate $10 to the Sandy Hook School Memorial Scholarship Fund through the Mobile Giving Foundation. Kathy and Gino Oriema contributed the first gift, an $80,000 donation to the scholarship fund.
When we talked about it, it was something that's more long-lasting, you know, something that really keeps those 26 people, keeps them in a memorial that's going to last, hopefully, forever.
Oriema's players are also looking to help out in any way they can. Tonight, they will wear patches in recognition of the tragedy. The SH is for Sandy Hook, and the school's colors are green and white. From the XL Center in Hartford, it's UConn basketball on SNY. Tonight, the undefeated Huskies host the Golden Grizzlies of Oakland University. UConn remains number 2 in the AP poll, and we're moving closer to the December 29th showdown at top-ranked Stanford. Hi again, everyone. Along with Megan Como, I'm Andrew Catalan. UConn is winning games by an average of 40 points per night, but Gino Oriema is always looking for ways to get better. Megan, what is one area the Huskies can improve upon?
Well, right now, Andrew, toughness is really what they need. Certainly to take the emotion that they're feeling from the tragedy and really try to funnel that in a productive way tonight. That is going to be critical. Not only that, they've got a 12-day layoff from final exams, but the physical toughness is also important because the 2 games leading into that exam break, the Huskies were beaten up quite a bit. They were fouled hard, and for the Huskies, they stepped back a little bit with that contact, with the pressure. They've got to really stay focused. And they've got to not only stay focused, they've got to execute, run their offense, and not turn the basketball over. That is the key.
Kia Stokes, Morgan Tuck will not play tonight. Meanwhile, for Oakland, they have 2 very talented players. Bethany Waterworth is the preseason player of the year in the Summit League, and Olivia Nash leads the team in scoring and rebounding. Well, Waterworth is out with an injury, and Nash is doubtful with an injury. So Oakland will be very small tonight, and they'll be relying on some freshmen, Meg.
Well, Coach Becky Francis has been thrilled with the way the freshmen have performed, but, including Nash, the 3 top scorers for this team are freshmen. They're going to have to play like seniors tonight against a very good UConn club.
Here are tonight's starting lineups presented by Subaru. 5 guards for Oakland and a change in the UConn lineup. Caroline Doty will start. So for the first time this season, Brianna Stewart will come off the bench. As we said, Oakland very undersized, so Gino Oriema will go with a more guard-oriented starting lineup.
Right, and let's not look at this as if Gino Oriema is trying to punish Brianna Stewart. It has nothing to do with it. Becky Francis is probably thrilled that she doesn't have to see the freshman sensation from the starting tip anyway.
2 trips to the NCAA tournament for Becky Francis, and there's Gino Oriema, who earlier today was named co-coach of the year by USA Basketball along with Coach Mike Krzyzewski. They both won gold medals at the London Olympics. It's been 13 days since UConn played a basketball team. They're underway, and UConn controls the opening tip. And right away, a steal for Oakland. This team likes to run. They will press. They will do whatever they can without really having a large presence on the court.
And they'll be very difficult to defend in the half court. They're very active.
Hartley bounce pass inside to Farris. Nice play defensively by Victoria Lipscomb. And the jump ball possession arrow favors the Golden Grizzlies. They come in with a 5-5 record. Play in the Summit League. They were third in the preseason poll.
And they are incredibly well coached as Kelly Farris forces that turnover, although it will stay Oakland ball. But Becky Francis does an outstanding job. They run offense, they execute, they play hard.
Menifee has her shot blocked by Dolson. And now Farris in transition. Up ahead to Doty. And UConn will swing it around the perimeter. 1 minute in, no score from the XL Center in Hartford.
You gotta look inside to Dolson.
Hartley from the outside, and UConn is on the board.
Well, certainly knocking down to three, that will open up the inside, but they got no one inside that can guard Steph Dolson.
Anne-Marie Hamlet, one of the freshmen, number 10. These freshmen have been a key part to Oakland's early season success. Hamlet's three is off the mark. There are sisters on Oakland. Anne-Marie Hamlet, number 10. Elizabeth Hamlet, number 33. Mosqueda Lewis, 4-3, and it's good. 2 threes for UConn are up 6-zip. So they do have the size advantage, but so far both field goals from the outside.
And look for Oakland to always bring it up the floor quickly. They like to run.
Lipscomb has it, feeds it inside, and Popke's jumper on the way, off the mark. Mosqueda Lewis has it knocked out, and it'll be UConn basketball as we look back at the Mosqueda Lewis three.
Well, that's the one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to leave Mosqueda Lewis wide open on the perimeter. So dangerous is number 23.
UConn shooting 41% as a team from beyond the arc.
Mosqueda Lewis coming off that 25-point effort against Penn State.
There's Dolson inside, and the left-handed lay-in is good. It's 8-0.
That will be there all evening long.
Dolson only had 5 points against Penn State last time out as Hartley is fouled. But Steph Dolson having a nice year, 57% from the floor on the season.
Again, another perfect pass from Kelly Farris, exactly where Dolson called for, so all she had to do was catch and finish.
One interesting stat, and it's more of a hockey stat, but they do keep tabs on plus minus now in basketball. Steph Dolson on the season leads the team at plus 238, which is just unbelievable. Brianna Stewart is second at plus 222. Hartley's first free throw is good. She has struggled at the line this year, just 58% coming in.
Well, Hartley, I think, has come back a little bit slowly. Let's not forget she missed a full month of action with that ankle injury, and it's going to take her a little bit of time to get back, and here she is.
There's the steal and the lay-in. 12-0 UConn. Timeout, Oakland. UConn has only trailed twice this entire season, and again, they jump out to the lead with 12 straight points.
And it's, you know, they do it in so many different ways, just quickness, anticipation. Their defensive pressure all season long, Andrew, has been outstanding.
Last time out, a physical game against Penn State. That was at Gamble Pavilion. UConn won 67-52. Really 2 physical games in a row, like you talked about, Meg. Maryland and then Penn State. And I think UConn learned a little bit about itself in those 2 games.
Well, and then they had that 12-day break during final exams, which is a difficult time for Gino Auriemma and his staff, as you see their record at home.
13 losses in the last 19 years. Doesn't even add up. It's unbelievable. And another timeout is called by Oakland. So good defensive pressure from the Huskies. Well, don't forget on Friday, the Huskies look to go 3 in a row at home as they tip off against the Rams. UConn men's basketball on SNY. Fordham at UConn, presented by Samuel Adams. Coverage begins with City pregame Friday at 6:30, only on SNY.
So during that exam break, Andrew, it was taxing because the kids are cramming for exams. They're pulling all-nighters. They're doing everything they have to do their #1 priority, which is school, and then have to come out and try to play some basketball. So they're just psyched to play a game.
Inside, Menifee can't get it to fall. They chase for it in the corner, and Doty comes away with the ball. Dolson out to Farris. She swings it to Hartley for 3. Off the mark. Nice offensive board from Mosqueda Lewis, but she loses it, and Oakland comes the other way. Lipscomb, who played 58 minutes in a game earlier this year, a 4-overtime win over Western Michigan.
I'm tired just thinking about that.
It's just amazing. As Hartley with the steal. Hartley one-on-one with Popke, and Hartley finishes off the glass. 14-0.
Hartley looking so good early. And you need one of your upperclassmen and leaders to step up. You know, you talk about the mental toughness as we alluded to. That's when you have a leader step up and make some big plays for you.
Hartley has 9 of UConn's 14 points. Dolson got a hand on that one. Saves it to Hartley. Great hustle by Stephanie Dolson. Now Doty will launch from deep. And the rebound comes down to Anne-Marie Hamlet. Jumper on the way, rattles in for Shelby Harrington, and the Golden Grizzlies are on the board. Oakland's only faced 1 ranked team this year. That was the last time out this past Sunday. As Hartley hits another, she's got a dozen. Oakland lost to Purdue, a team that UConn beat in St. Thomas. Hartley averages 7.5 points per game. She's got 12 in the first 4.5 minutes.
Well, I would think that average is going to go up and up and up as we progress through the season.
Menifee at the free throw line. Hands off to Aspie. Nice fake, but she can't finish. However, she draws the foul. Bria Hartley on fire out of the gate. She has 12 of UConn's 17 points. And after starting with a 14-0 run, UConn now up 17-2 on Oakland.
Welcome back to the XL Center. The UConn women up 17-2, and on the morning of what happened at Sandy Hook Elementary School, the UConn women had practice scheduled for 1 o'clock that afternoon. Gino Auriemma acknowledged he should have canceled that practice. As he watched the news reports, he said his feelings went from numbness to anger, and he carried that anger into practice. He said he took it out on his girls. Now, that doesn't mean that they ran extra lines or that he yelled at him. He just said he was angry. There was a cloud over the gym. In fact, he was upset about the way he reacted. He put an apology on Twitter. He said, quote, "Had practice today after I heard about the shootings. I was so angry I took it out on my players. Want to apologize to a great group of people." And along with his wife, Kathy, Gino turned that anger into action by donating $80,000 to the Sandy Hook Memorial Scholarship Fund in what will be just the beginning for the Huskies, Andrew.
Thank you very much, Kareth. Gino said maybe kids who dream about going to college but can't afford to will feel tremendously honored to earn a scholarship named after one of the Sandy Hook victims.
An incredibly generous gesture by he and Kathy, and they figured $80,000 is what a 4-year degree would be at UConn. So very generous to get the thing started.
UConn up 17-4. Bria Hartley has already matched her season high with 12 points as Brianna Stewart has checked into the game. Doty and Mosqueda Lewis on the bench. Brianna Banks also in for the first time tonight. Dolson inside. Back out to Ferris. She's open for three, and she's pretty much money from downtown. 52% on the year. That leads UConn.
And what makes Steph Dolson so good is her recognition of, 3 black jerseys on her, and she kicked it out to the open Ferris. Very unselfish.
Mariah Jefferson at the scorer's table for UConn. Harrington, that's a 2. It's off the mark, and Ferris the board. Quickly up ahead to Hartley. Back over to Ferris. She's open again, this time off the front of the rim. Stewart inside with the rebound. Falls to the ground, but she's pushed down, and a foul on Oakland.
Well, check it out. Steph Dolson felt the defense converging and wisely kicked it out to Ferris, who is, as you indicated, been money from three-point range this year.
The Gino Auriemma show aired on SNY this past Friday, and Gino made an interesting point about Ferris as UConn turns it over. He said that early in games, she sometimes is a little jumpy. Sometimes she forces shots until she gets into her rhythm. And he's been working with her to settle down in those first few minutes of the game and wait for your shot.
Even seniors can still have these moments. And certainly she's got a Hall of Fame coach to help her through those rough moments.
Popke inside, swatted. Dolson and Ferris get a hand on that. And Oakland will have 4 on the shot clock off the inbounds.
Great block there by Dolson, and wisely did not try to save it. Check out the great defense. Everyone active and involved, and Dolson grabbed the ball because if she saves it, obviously Oakland's got a 5-on-4 advantage.
Another block for Dolson. UConn the other way. Banks inside to Brianna Stewart, off the glass and in. And another timeout called for by Becky Francis. That's the 3rd timeout Oakland has used in the first 7 minutes of this game.
Well, we talked a lot about how great the freshmen have played for Oakland. Well, that can work against you. The young players against here, the freshman sensation for UConn. Oakland just has no answers right now. They have not, this young team has not seen anything like the UConn pressure.
Lost by 31 against Purdue on Sunday. Memorable game against Western Michigan, the longest game in program history, when they won in 4 overtimes, 73-70. And as we told you in the beginning, they're all everything. They're preseason player of the year in the Summit League. Bethany Waterworth has not played this entire year. She's 9th on the all-time scoring list. She's out with an undisclosed injury. They're hoping she'll come back at some point during the season. But clearly, Oakland is playing shorthanded for Becky Francis.
It's so disappointing when you think you're going to have this kid, and certainly Becky Francis wants her superstar to get healthy. But then here she's got these 3 freshmen who have exceeded their expectations, but Olivia Nash, the leading scorer, is out with an injury. So it's early, though, that she should be ready to play for Summit League play.
Stewart's 3 is off the mark. Oakland just 1 of 10 from the floor in this first half. Hopke will launch a 3. And Brianna Banks skies for the rebound. Mosqueda Lewis back in for UConn. She'll launch from deep off the front of the rim. Nice board from Stewart. She's pushed down, no call. And now a jump ball. The possession arrow favors UConn.
I love the hustle by Stewart, though. Never gives up on a play. Even with a little help, she gets on the floor for loose balls anyway.
Banks inbounds to Jefferson. Mariah at the free throw line. Jumper is off the mark, but Stewart is right there. Count it, and the foul.
This is a perfect opportunity for Brianna Stewart to get a little bit of her swag back. She had struggled a little bit in those last 2 physical games, dominating here early on.
Stewart will go to the line when we come back. UConn up 20 on Oakland. UConn women's basketball on SNY is brought to you by Cadillac, by Yale New Haven Hospital, ranked among the very best in the nation in 7 specialties by U.S. News and World Report, by Samuel Adams, and by Bob's Discount Furniture. On the home court tonight, UConn has jumped out to a 20-point lead on UConn. Bria Hartley leading the way with 12 points. And how about Stephanie Dolson? She already has 4 blocks against this undersized team from Oakland, located in Rochester, Michigan. An enrollment of just under 20,000. Brianna Stewart cannot finish off the three-point play, but Mosqueda Lewis is there, and she cleans it up underneath.
Yeah, just not a good enough box out defensively, and give Mosqueda Lewis credit for just going for the offensive rebound in that situation.
5 points now for the sophomore. Oakland still 1 of 11 from the floor. Shot in the way by Lipscomb, does not get the roll, and Mosqueda Lewis rips it down.
Man, that touched every part of the rim.
Banks straws the contact, and Brianna Banks will go to the line.
Look at this. You saw Menifee step up, but you really have to make sure you make contact when you box out. You just can't step up on the angle. Credit Mosqueda Lewis for just working hard and getting around. They
say that foul was on the floor before the shot, so UConn has to inbound and then a travel and a turnover by the Huskies. That's their 4th turnover of the half. Oakland has turned it over 5 times. Hopkins trapped by Jefferson and Banks, and a jump ball. The possession arrow favors Oakland. Gino Auriemma likes what he sees from his defense.
Well, you speak of defense, they are holding Oakland to 9% shooting at this stage in the game.
5 on the shot clock for the Golden Grizzlies. And another steal, but Stewart goes to the ground. But a shot clock violation is called. So yes, it's a turnover.
Albeit an unconventional one.
Yes. Stay on top of all things UConn with up-to-the-minute Huskies news, game recaps, press conferences, and exclusive interviews on SNYUConn.com. Presented by Mercedes-Benz, part of the SNY.TV blog network. Good hands from Menifee. She comes away with the steal. Trying to go coast to coast. Cannot finish underneath. Oakland 1 of 13. Jefferson the other way. And we have traveling called on Mosqueda Lewis.
And UConn gave one away there. They had 2 Oakland players trailing that break. They could have got a much easier shot. Instead, a turnover.
6 turnovers apiece. Mosqueda Lewis knocks that one out of Lipscomb's hands. And Stewart with the steal. Mosqueda Lewis goes to the ground for it. And we have another jump ball. This time the possession arrow favors UConn.
Impressive active hands by the Huskies. They must have worked defense a lot during that break. Hands in the passing lanes, everybody active. Just a heads-up play there by Stewart. And then once again, you see those gray jerseys always diving on the floor for loose balls.
On the floor for UConn, Hartley, Banks, Stewart, Mosqueda Lewis, and Farris. Midway point of the first half. Hartley, this time she can't hit. Hartley has 12 points on the night. Off the mark that time. UConn still up 26-4. And a steal from Hartley. It hits the official, and she was out of bounds when she went to the ground. Tough break there for UConn, but good hustle from Hartley.
What are you saying? Really? I had 2.
Our officials tonight at the XL Center.
There she is, Norma Jones in the way. No problem, it got a little screen time.
Hamlet blocked by Stewart, but a foul is called on the freshman.
And Stewart smiled and pounded the ball. Something tells me she thinks it was clean. Well, there was some body there. Look at her. Ah. She palmed that thing when she blocked it too.
Hamlet, an 84% free throw shooter. All-time leading scorer of her high school, McBain High School in Michigan. She won a state title with her sister on the team, and her sister is reunited with Elizabeth as Anne-Marie is a freshman on the team, and she just checked in for head coach Becky Francis.
How exciting to be reunited. The Huskies had two sisters, the Valley girls, Morgan and Ashley, several years back. What a special thing to be able to play with your sibling.
Stewart for three, and that's it 2, and it's good. Barris got a hand on that one, and it will stay with Oakland. Another look at Brianna.
Oh yeah, the right foot on the line, clearly. Good call by the officials.
Four of Oakland's 6 points from the free throw line. They have just one field goal. Harrington turnaround, off the mark. Stewart for the rebound. And now out to Hartley. Skata Lewis for three, it's good.
That was a line drive, wasn't it?
She had some room and she did not hesitate. 8 points for Kalina Mosqueda Lewis. And a steal from UConn off Doty's hands. Mosqueda Lewis with an improbable save. Hartley on the other end. And she gets it to go. A new season high for Bria Hartley. She has 14.
Well, once again, offense coming from their defense. Some outstanding defense from the Huskies.
Another steal. Hartley got her hand on that one. Hartley coast to coast. It's 35-6.
You know, sometimes those passes work in the Summit League. Those cross-court passes are not going to work against the best defensive team in the country.
That one knocked out. It'll be Oakland basketball. Substitutions for both teams. Steph Dolson in for UConn, and Elena Popke, the freshman, onto the floor for Oakland. Popke forces up a shot, draws some contact on Ferris, and the foul is called. Popke will shoot when we come back. UConn rolling. Do you think they had a 13-day layoff? It's hard to tell. UConn up 35-6. UConn up 35-6 on Oakland. Bria Hartley leading the way, a new season high. She has 16 points.
Well, she only had 5 threes coming into the game, but she looks like the Bria of old. Knocking down threes, getting in her stance defensively, picking the ball and finishing. And the confidence there with the dribble and the pull-up. That's the Bria Hartley that I have seen for years here at UConn. And when she's making plays like that on the defensive end, this team is nearly impossible to play against. And certainly to run offense. She's only averaged 8 points thus far, and she's doubled that number here tonight, Andrew.
She's nearly tripled Oakland's team total. Her career high is 29. It came in 2011 against Notre Dame. First free throw is good from Popke, the freshman from Warren, Michigan. Double digits in back-to-back games.
Well, you know, we talked a lot about the layoff for exams and how that can maybe be a detriment for UConn, but I think that extra break really helped Hartley. She looks like a completely different player tonight than she was against Penn State.
Yeah, Bria came in her last 2 games shooting 4 for 14. She was just a little bit off. Didn't seem like herself after returning from the injury, but this is the Bria Hartley that UConn fans know and love, the way she's playing tonight. Skata Lewis drives in, off the glass, it's good.
That's where UConn, in this case, Mosqueda Lewis is so much bigger and stronger. She can finish there, even with the body.
She's in double figures with 10. And we have an offensive foul called on Popke.
Now, unlikely that Popke at 5'6" is going to. Who did she push there? Was it Mosqueda Lewis
Hartley.
or Hartley? You know, it's I think a little acting there by Hartley. I don't think Popke. What does she weigh? About $140? Like she's going to push Bria Hartley like that. But you know, sometimes the dramatics help you.
Doty, deep three. Count it! Doty from downtown.
The consummate leader for this team, Caroline Doty.
Hamlet on the other end, and that's just the second field goal of the night for Oakland, and their first since the 15:53 mark of the first half. Dolson, too easy. Inside, Steph Dolson, she's got 4.
Well, the great players make it look easy, and another tremendous pass from Kelly Ferris to exactly where the ball needed to be.
Hamlet drives, and she traveled. Turnover number 11 for Oakland.
Well, you dribble and then you kick to the open teammate. Doty makes Oakland pay, and a perfect pass from Ferris to Dolson. We've said that already a couple times tonight. We'll say it many more times throughout this season, I am sure.
Doty has 5. Her season average is 4. Actually, Doty now has 8. 2 straight threes for the senior.
And even with those threes, UConn dominating in the paint as well.
Hartley on the wing, kick out to Dolson. That's a 2 for Steph Dolson.
I thought she was dragging a little bit, coming up, trailing on the break, and she said, no, I'm done inside. I want to go outside a little bit.
She hit her first career 3 earlier this year as a steal from Banks. And she is all alone. Brianna Banks, 49-11.
You can tell with the steals the Huskies have made here, Oakland is not used to this type of quickness and defensive anticipation in their schedule.
Same could be said about a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Will face UConn this year. Foul on Ferris. Brianna Banks averaging just under 10 points per game. She's certainly been one of the early season surprises for UConn.
You know, that may work against Western Michigan. That may work against South Dakota State. It's not going to work against the UConn Huskies. But that's why Becky Francis is a really good coach. She schedules these games. This isn't the first time that she's played UConn. They played them back in 2006. She wants to play the basket. She wants her team to improve, and they will get better from this. Remember, they have 3 freshmen that lead them in scoring, one of whom tonight is injured.
2006, the only time these two schools have met. UConn won by 32. Another foul is called, and that's on Bria Hartley. 5 team fouls on the Huskies in the first half. Inside, there is just nowhere to go for Oakland. That jumper's off the mark, and Hartley with the rebound.
That was outstanding help team defense. UConn does it so well.
And a travel is called on Bria Hartley.
One of the few mistakes we've seen tonight from Bria Hartley, just getting going a little too quickly, shuffling the feet.
UConn is shooting 69% from the floor. They battle for that, and the jump ball possession arrow favors Oakland. And Heather Buck comes into a huge ovation at the XL Center. First time this year she's seen first half minutes. Steph Dolson comes out. Heather Buck has played in 6 of UConn's 8 games this year. Scored a total of 5 points and 12 boards. It's her first game action since Colgate, the 2 games she did not play in. UConn's previous 2 against Maryland and Penn State.
She certainly is a hometown favorite here of the crowd from nearby Southington. Or Stonington, rather. What did I say, Southington?
They did a great job on the Gino Auriemma show on Friday on SNY, profiling Heather, who's really studying so hard to get her nursing degree. Has to go through clinicals.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable the amount of work she has to do, and to balance that with practice. His Buck comes up with the block. He's a remarkable student athlete.
Oh, such a smart kid.
Banks wheels it inside to Stewart, kick out to Jefferson for three. She can't hit. Lipscomb with the board. Jumper on the way off the front of the rim from Carlton. And we have a foul called going against UConn, which the fans do not steer.
You're not going to see him arguing with the officials, not when it's 49-11. But Hamlin had inside position, or rather Russell did. And they saw Brianna Stewart, the longer arm, coming over the back, and that's why they called it.
Sinclair Russell just a 36% free throw shooter. And she goes 1 of 2 from the line. 4 minutes to go in the first half. UConn has dominated from start to finish. They got out to a 14-0 lead and have not looked back. Jefferson can't hit again from deep. Loose ball comes to Jefferson, though, and UConn will reset with Hartley. It's good. 17 for Hartley. Make that 19 now for Hartley.
Well, Buck kept it going there with great hustle on the offensive rebound to keep the ball alive.
Buck knocks that one loose. Good hustle from the senior. Timeout on the floor. UConn is rolling. They win games by an average of 40 points. Tonight, they're up by 40 in the first half. It's 52-12. On Friday, find out the unique role Gino Auriemma plays during the holidays. Plus, hear from former UConn All-American Sue Bird why coming back to stores comes with mixed emotions. It's an all-new Gino Auriemma show Friday at 10 p.m. only on SNY. Show debuted on Friday. Kareth Burke did a fantastic job. It's a must-watch for all UConn fans. How about the X's and O's segment? X's and Geno's. It was diagramming plays. It was good stuff. You had some behind-the-scenes footage of the team's trip to St. Thomas during the Paradise Jam. It was a great half hour for UConn fans. This has been a great, 50 minutes for UConn so far. They're up by 40. They forced Oakland into 12 turnovers.
Well, and to come out with 8 steals and to be so sharp, both defensively and offensively, we talked about, and I talked with the coaches before the game, they didn't know how the kids were going to come out after the tragic events of this weekend, but, they're really channeling their aggression and emotions in the right way.
Possession arrow favors UConn. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Banks has to put one up. She does, and it goes in. Oh. The bank is open for Banks.
Oh my goodness. An early Christmas present for Brianna Banks.
Oakland has still only made 2 field goals in the first half. Hamlet, deep 3. Front of the rim. Sinclair is there for the rebound, Sinclair Russell, but she can't finish either. If you're Gino Auriemma, what do you tell your team at the half, Meg, as Stewart cannot hit from the line?
Well, it's sad to say that this is not the first time they've been in this situation, but the important thing is just as they approach every game, it's not about the opponent, it's about playing Connecticut basketball, and they have to continue to do that, continue to play hard, execute, cut down on some of the turnovers. We've got 7 turnovers here. You know, he'd like to see them cut that down.
Rebound for Heather Buck. Final 90 seconds of the first half at the XL Center. UConn looking to improve to 9-0.
And he can tinker with some different lineups as well.
Jefferson's spinning jumper doesn't go. Stewart on the putback.
It's an important game for players like Stewart as well as the rest of the team to get some of that confidence back that I think those Maryland and Penn State games kind of made it waver a bit.
The freshman pokes that one away. 7 to shoot for Oakland. They just cannot get anything on the interior, and that one goes out of bounds. Last touch by Lipscomb. Another turnover.
How about that shot clock winding down? I don't know if Brianna Banks even thought that shot had a prayer, but she'll take it.
Banks drives in, left hand lay-in is good. This is the most points UConn has scored in a half this year. The previous best was 57 in the opener against College of Charleston. They have 59 right now. Shot clock turned off, final 15 seconds. Leanna Stewart in the lane, knocks it down. Final seconds, and that will do it. UConn scored 63 points in its win over Maryland. They have 61 in the first half against Oakland tonight. Total domination from the second-ranked Huskies.
Really impressed with their mental focus and toughness in these first 20 minutes. I think they showed a tremendous amount of competitiveness and just played outstanding basketball.
We told you Oakland is undersized, and UConn did dominate the paint, outscoring the Golden Grizzlies 22-0, but they also hit 8 3-pointers. So UConn did it from the outside and from the inside. Let's hear from Gino Auriemma. He's with Kerith Burke.
Well, Coach, your last game was on December 6th. You weren't sure how your team would come out. What do you like about their first half sharpness?
Well, I thought it started the game. You know, we got some great ball movement, and I like where Bria Hartley is. You know, we were really concerned when she first came back from her injury, and we were wondering how long it was going to take. And these last 3 days, she's looked really good. So I'm really happy for her that is translated into tonight's game.
We saw her have a season high already in this first half. Can you tell us a little more about Bria and where she is developing?
Well, you know, you've got you get an opportunity to play, and more importantly, because she's had an opportunity to practice for 10, 12 days in a row, I think that's what's made all the difference.
How about giving Heather Buck some first half minutes?
Well, you know, especially with those 2 guys hurt, you know, Morgan and Kia, we really need her to come in. And also, you know, all Heather's got to do is, you know, play good defense, rebound the basketball, and then all the other stuff will take care of itself.
Thank you, Coach.
Well, a dominant first half from Gino Auriemma's team, doing it on defense. Bria Hartley leading the way with 19, and at the break, UConn has a 61-12 lead on Oakland. The halftime report is coming up next on SNY.
Welcome inside the State Farm halftime report. The UConn women up 61-12. That 61 total is the greatest so far in a game this season. And the Hartford, here in Hartford, it's very friendly for the UConn women. The XL Center is sort of their home away from home. They've got 8 games on the schedule here in Hartford. The Big East tournament will also be here. So how did the Huskies get from Stores to this home away from home? We want to give you a behind-the-scenes look at the preparation that it takes to come to Hartford. The pregame routine begins when the team members gather for a meal together. On this day, the players enjoy soup, salad, fruit, pasta, and chicken 4 hours before game time. While the Huskies break bread together, conversation ranges from upcoming games to music to even fashion.
Kelly, you would have loved my outfit today.
Yeah, I'm short. I was like, Steph, you have one.
I had shorts, leggings with ripped tights, and then high leggings. So my legs were covered, except for like that much. It was cute.
After their pregame meal, the players head downstairs where they dress for the game. Then they make their way to the bus, which takes them from Gamble to XL Center. The bus brings the players and team managers. On this day, Stephanie Dolson quizzed her teammates about their upcoming opponent.
All right, what numbers are lefties? Yeah. 13 and 15. Yes!
So Stephanie, you led a pregame quiz on your opponent. Why is that important to do?
You know, I think it just kind of gets everyone focused on what we need to do for the game and gets everyone kind of comfortable with what the players on the other team do.
Do you always go through in quiz format like that, raise the hand kind of style?
Usually CD does it, but this was a new beginning, and I thought I'd try it out, and I think it was pretty successful. And I think it just gets everyone to kind of read, you know, their player and the whole team and kind of get to know everyone.
Finally, what's your pregame routine when you're not being interviewed?
I kind of do the same thing as everyone else. I'm probably going to put my headphones on, listen to music, zone in on, you know, the game and what we need to do to win.
What are the things that go through your mind as you prepare for tip-off?
I'm just gonna stay focused. I mean, this bus ride right now, we just gotta get our minds right and get focused so that when we get to the XL Center, we're ready to play.
We have half our games at Gamble, half our games in Hartford, and that's just kind of part of it. And like Steph said, it kind of gives us a little bit of time to just kind of settle down and get focused on the game. When I first got here, it was strange. It was a little different. It takes a little bit of time to get used to, but it's nice because you have kind of two different crowds. You know, at Gamble, we have a lot more students, and then we go into Hartford, and you get different crowds from everywhere around that can't make it out to Gamble. So both crowds are great, and it's fun. It's fun to have two arenas.
The routine for a game in Hartford differs from a game at Gamble Arena for both the players and team managers.
When game day's in Hartford, we have to start a little bit earlier getting ready. We have to pack all the bags to bring them on the bus, bring our clothes, because obviously you have to bring everything to the game. We have pregame still in Gamble. Then we help the girls get stuff on the bus, get on the bus, go to Hartford. Today we have our walkthrough in Hartford, which is a little different than usual.
Once in Hartford, the players enter XL Center for a walkthrough. They shoot around for a little bit and then study various plays and game scenarios with their assistant coaches. Before you know it, the crowd begins to file in, and it is showtime for the Huskies.
Barris cross court to Hartley. Right back inside to Stewart.
How about that pass?
An excellent start for the Huskies at their home away from home. The score 61-12. We'll be right back from the XL Center. Welcome back to the State Farm Halftime Report. UConn up 61-12. One of the players who has earned a starting job this season has been Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis. Last season, her freshman year, she was the Big East Freshman of the Year. She was also the Big East Sixth Man of the Year. She was outstanding in games. That's what Gino told her. You can't just be good in games, you've got to be great in practice. And Kalina took that advice to heart. Take a listen about her new practice routine.
My first practice at UConn was near death. You feel like you can't move anymore. You feel like you're about to pass out, but you know, you've got the coaches yelling at you that you can do it. You've got, you know, your teammates telling you, find that fifth, sixth gear that you've got in there, and you know that, you know, every time that you're in a game and you're tired, this is what it's going to feel like.
Kalina describing how tough those practices are. They make everyone successful. Brianna Banks, one of them. That three-pointer, part of 7 points for her. We'll be right back with a look at the box score. Huskies up 61-12. UConn getting 20 points off of turnovers. They're also dominating in the paint with their large size. 24-0. They're outscoring Oakland. In fact, Oakland's having a real tough time. 2 for 25 on field goal percent shooting. That is 8%. UConn also getting some help from their bench. 17 points. We'll be right back with the second half from the XL Center.
UConn women's basketball on SNY is brought to you by Subaru of New England. Love, it's what makes a Subaru. a Subaru. Start of the second half, UConn up 61-12 on Oakland. The Huskies looking to run their record to 9-0, a total team effort in that first half. Hi again, everyone, along with Megan Como. I'm Andrew Catalan. The offensive output speaks for itself, but how about the UConn defense? 8 steals against Oakland. And Meg, they've been getting a hand on so many passes, doing a great job in transition.
Well, as we said in that first half, I don't think Oakland is used to not only the quickness, but the intensity of UConn's defense. They anticipate so exceptionally well. They play outstanding team defense. Everyone knows where their man is, where the ball is, and they converge on that ball so quickly. They hustle, they're scrappy, they're hungry, and that's what makes them the best defensive team in the country.
13 first half turnovers for Oakland, and they only had 2 field goals. That's the fewest a UConn opponent has had in a half since last year when UConn demolished Fairleigh Dickinson. 2 for 25 for head coach Becky Francis. That adds up to 8% shooting in the first half. Second half is underway.
Hey, Francis, she knows adversity. She has transitioned a couple different programs from one division to the next, Division II to Division I. It's unbelievable. She's done it here at Oakland. She's done it at Stony Brook.
Well, if she comes back from this deficit, then I'll really think that she is the ultimate coach. Oakland hits his first shot out of the gate in the second half. It's 61-15. Same starting 5 for UConn. Doty out there. Stewart is on the bench. Brianna Stewart off the bench. 5 of 7 in the first half. She had 10 points. Doty left open for 3. Cannot hit. Fans remain standing.
Well, we talked about mental toughness coming into this game. Let's see if the Huskies come out focused enough. Now they've just given up 2 straight possessions. Field goals for Oakland, and that's one of UConn's goals, is to score first each half. Good job by Oakland.
Jump ball possession arrow favors UConn. Oakland has matched its field goal total from the first half in the first minute of the second half.
And so Gino's, what he's trying to get these players to do is to not look at the score and just come out and play hard, but give Oakland credit. They've come out and played exceptionally well these first couple possessions.
Dolson misses down low, but she's fouled after grabbing the rebound.
Human nature sets in, and you're winning by such a margin that you come out, and it's it is human nature to maybe take your foot off the gas a little bit, but that's what makes that man completely irate. They've got to continue to execute and play hard as if it were 0-0, and let me tell you what, that is really hard to do.
Dolson misses the first free throw. She has 6 points, 4 blocks, and 3 rebounds tonight. Second free throw is good.
The appreciative crowd can sit down now that she scored.
Popke airballs a 3. And Doty will bring the ball up the floor for UConn. Huskies back in action Saturday at Hartford against a familiar face in Jen Rosati. That game will be right here on SNY at 1 o'clock. Mosqueda Lewis misses from the free throw line. Dolson chases after the board, but it's out of bounds to Oakland.
You mentioned Hartford, Jen Rosati's team. Boy, are they physical. They're tough. That'll be a really good matchup for UConn, talking about physical toughness.
Hawks are 8-2 to start the year. I wonder what they're thinking watching this game, though, right now. Another 3 on the way from Hamlet. Another air ball for Oakland, and it's UConn ball.
Well, if I know Jen Rosati, she's got her kids thinking upset.
They've had some good wins this year. Beat Providence by 30. You don't see America East teams doing that very often. Farris to Dolson. Hartley for 3 off the side of the rim. Farris chases it down. Oakland saves it to Dolson.
I think what happened that time, I think Menifee, her foot was on the line, so that's why it's UConn ball.
Farris will inbound to Hartley.
Oh.
Ferris fakes the pass, misses the three. Mosqueda Lewis, weak shot rebound, and the putback for the sophomore. She has 12.
How about that ball fake?
Well, we've said so much about Kelly Ferris throughout these first 8 games. She now leads the country in assist to turnover ratio, 36 assists to 8 turnovers for the senior.
And what a telling statistic that is for the type of player that Kelly Ferris is.
Elizabeth Hamlet knocks down a 3. Just a 21% three-point shooter on the year. Ferris inside to a wide open Dolson. Nobody even near her. Another assist for Kelly Ferris.
UConn playing a zone.
And a turnover by Oakland. They now have 14.
Interesting, they're in a zone, not in the passing lanes like they were in that aggressive man-to-man. But they are causing a turnover anyway in their 2-3 zone defense. And Becky Francis trying to coach. It's all you can do in a second half. Just coach her young team to not worry about the score, continue to compete. I think she's doing an outstanding job.
5 20-win seasons for Francis. This is her 13th year as head coach at Oakland, a graduate of Colgate. Substitution for Gino Auriemma as Brianna Stewart checks in for the first time this half. Mosqueda Lewis to the bench, and Hartley off the mark on the jumper. Ferris the rebound. Nice pass to Brianna Stewart, and there's another assist for Kelly Ferris. She now has 4 on the evening.
Just unselfish. She easily could have shot that ball, Andrew.
Once again, no penetration on the interior for Oakland as the three-pointer is off the mark from Minifee. Doty is left open, but they get her for a travel. Timeout on the floor. UConn up 68-20 on Oakland. Mosqueda Lewis. And then a great pass from Ferris to Brianna Stewart. Huskies up by 48.
I think the Catholic schools did a really good thing. They stayed at the table as long as they could make as much money as they could. And then when they saw that the money was running out, decided let's go play somewhere else. And had they voted appropriately, some of them, in the last 10 years, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in. So they did what was best for them, just like a lot of Catholic schools do.
Very pointed words from UConn head coach Gino Auriemma. The news came down on Saturday. 7 schools leaving the Big East, which leaves the Big East with a major question mark now moving forward. Obviously not an ideal situation for UConn. They were hoping to get the ACC invite. That did not happen, or at least has not happened yet. And now 7 schools pulling out of the Big East.
You know, years ago, Penn State wanted to come to the Big East, and some of those Catholic schools voted no. How different the landscape would be if Penn State came to the Big East instead of the Big Ten.
UConn President Susan Herbst issued a letter to alumni and students about the predicament that they are in with conference affiliation. Cincinnati in a very similar situation to UConn in the Big East. You look at all the schools, Syracuse, West Virginia, Pittsburgh, now the 7 additional schools, and honestly, it's sad what has happened to the Big East. It's just, you think about all the traditions, Meg, and the rivalries over the years, and they're all gone now. And what's next for UConn? That is the big question.
It's Dolson there, gets the offensive rebound, but then walks with the ball. It will be Oakland ball. You know, it is. All those, the traditions are gone. As you take a look here at the shot that rims out. Dolson tried, but shuffled her feet. You know, it's too bad. I mean, the Big East that we all know is no longer. But, you know, you read Susan Herbst's letter, it's got so much optimism. You know, Gino talks about, we'll build it again. And you have to appreciate what they're going to try, what they are trying to do. I mean, they have an uphill battle, but they'll get it done.
Well, Gino made the comment that it's football driven. It's very obvious. Mick Cronin said the same thing, the Cincinnati men's head coach. It's all about football, and it's a shame what's happened to the basketball rivalries in the Big East. They are no more because of one sport, and that's football. There's a lot of factors that go into it, but football certainly drives the bus.
But it's so ironic in light of what has happened on Friday in Newtown. The realignment doesn't seem like as big of a deal. You know, you figure it out.
Stephanie Dolson is down on the court in pain, has not gotten up yet. Dolson still struggling, and she is not putting hardly any weight on her left leg. Now she seems to be trying to walk it off. But Dolson clearly in pain after going to the ground.
Classy move there by Elizabeth Hamlet, number 33, to tap her. Looks like she twisted her ankle.
And Dolson will go to the bench. Mosqueda Lewis comes in. Another look at Dolson.
Oh, she just
took a
went
wrong
over.
step.
Yeah. Oh, that hurts.
So they'll work on Dolson on the UConn bench. Brianna Stewart's jumper, no good. And Oakland with the rebound.
Heads up play there to save the ball by Peyton Apsey.
Popke trapped, timeout granted to Oakland. And you can see that Dolson's getting some work done on the UConn bench. Huskies still up by 48. Saturday, UConn women's basketball continues on SNY as the second-ranked Huskies hit the road, kind of, and look to power past Hartford. UConn at Hartford. Coverage begins with pregame Saturday at 12:30, only on SNY. Another look at the injury to Stephanie Dolson.
Yeah, you see she just stepped and her ankle went over. And you see her grimacing in pain, and Rosemary Regal took off the shoe, which they don't like to do in that situation, but obviously it's serious enough to try to assess how bad it is, and she could be done for the rest of the evening.
Left shoe remains off. Remember, UConn without Morgan Tuck tonight. She has a bone bruise in her right knee, and without Kia Stokes, a stress fracture in her right shin. Neither one of those players has practiced for the last week. Their status for Saturday's game at Hartford not yet known.
Morgan Tuck has started practicing, starting to come back. I don't know if she'll get any action on Saturday, but she will come back clearly before Kia Stokes will. She could be out for 2 weeks.
Oakland inbounds it to no one. Farris chases after it. It goes out of bounds, and it's UConn ball.
You see that put an air cast on and putting the sneaker back on. I don't know if she'll come back in, but that will at least keep the swelling down.
Nice move from Brianna Stewart. The freshman has 14 points. And that's on the heels of her performance against Penn State, where she only took 3 shots. She was 1 of 3 from the floor for 7 points. Gino Auriemma on the Gino Auriemma show Friday night SNY said, why did Brianna only get 3 shots? Well, that's because that's all she took. That's all she created. She needs to find more shots when a team like Penn State is physical. And that's something she'll learn as she moves forward.
Well, wouldn't you say that was the first game that she looked like a freshman?
Absolutely. Maryland was physical with her too, but Penn State held her to 7 points, which was a season low for Stewart.
And that's why UConn plays this tough non-conference schedule, particularly early. It gets them ready for the NCAA tournament and the Big East tournament when it really matters.
4 of their 8 wins have come over ranked teams. Ten to shoot for Oakland. Lipscomb baseline, threw it out of bounds, and it was kicked by UConn. So it will stay with Oakland. As we told you at the top of our broadcast tonight, to support the students and families in Newtown directly affected by the shootings at Sandy Hook Elementary School, the University of Connecticut Foundation has established the Sandy Hook School Memorial Scholarship Fund through a lead gift of $80,000 from UConn women's basketball head coach Gino Auriemma and his wife Kathy. You can text the words UConn Newtown to the number 50555 to donate $10 to the Sandy Hook School Memorial Scholarship Fund through the Mobile Giving Foundation. Oakland in transition, and Ferris with a huge block, but before the block, a travel called on Oakland.
You know, even though she's not going to get credit for that block in the stat sheet, boy, does it feel good to block a shot like that. Wow.
Kelly Ferris just fills up the box score. Now, as you said, she doesn't get credit for the block there, but Ferris can do it all, offensively and defensively.
Hartley got a nice ovation as she went to the bench for a little break.
Stewart left open for three. Too much on that shot. Out of bounds to UConn. Huskies on cruise control over Oakland. It's 70-22.
Welcome back to the XL Center. UConn up 70-22. And a moment ago, when Stephanie Dolson was hurt, she walked over to the bench and she sat down with trainer Rosemary. So she took off that left ankle brace, took off her left shoe, and Rosemary kept poking spots on the top of her foot. Does this hurt? No. Does this hurt? No. Gino asked her, "Are you okay?" Stephanie said, "Yeah." No ice, no elevation. She's got that shoe back on. And if you look at the look on her face on the bench, I think she's ready to come back in the game if Gino gives her that nod.
Rosemary Regal does a fantastic job for UConn. Huskies have struggled here in the second half. They're outscored 10-9, but shooting-wise, UConn 4 of 16 from the floor, make it 4 of 17, and 0 for 7 from three-point land. So this is a different UConn team in the second half.
You know, and that's the kind of stuff that drives Gino Auriemma crazy. You play so well in the first half. Yes, it is human nature to take a little bit of a step back, but he doesn't accept that ever.
Jefferson dives to the floor, out of bounds. It goes to Oakland. Lipscomb inbounds to Harrington. Three seconds on the shot clock for the Golden Grizzlies. Lipscomb can't hit, and the ball goes out of bounds to UConn.
UConn is lucky that they have a chance right now. There's 11 minutes to go. Gino's going to say, pick it up, start shooting the ball better.
Here is tonight's UConn trivia question presented by People's United Bank. Who has played the most games in UConn history? We'll have the answer coming up. UConn's lead is 50 on Oakland, and a travel by Anne-Marie Hamlet.
And while UConn not shooting the ball as well this half, their defense has not wavered.
On the floor for the Huskies, Ferris, Mosqueda-Lewis, Banks, Stewart, and Jefferson. Banks had an open look at a three, passed it up. Now inside to Brianna Stewart. Turnaround, jumper is good. Nice touch from the freshman. She's got 16.
I love the decision by Banks to penetrate and get a better shot than a 17-footer. Smart decision by the sophomore.
Hamlet drives on Mosqueda-Lewis, and a block from Kalina, and now a jump ball. Possession arrow favors Oakland.
Well, UConn getting yet another block. Mosqueda-Lewis, lucky she didn't get called for the foul there. A little bit of contact. You never know how these officials will call it.
Hamlet's three off the mark. That was Elizabeth Hamlet, not to be confused with her sister Anne-Marie. Less than 10 minutes to play, second half at the XL Center. Banks drives baseline and lays it in. Off the pass from Brianna Stewart. Banks has 9.
A wise decision there by Banks. Great recognition and the wheels to get to the basket.
Errant pass from the Golden Grizzlies. UConn in transition. Mosqueda Lewis for 3. Doesn't get it, but gets the rebound. Drives back in. Misses again. Brianna Stewart misses the easy putback. But the second time for Brianna is the charm.
Persistence pays off.
Timeout called for by Oakland. And you look at the second chance opportunities for UConn on this play.
And you know, sometimes your shots, hey, you're not going to shoot 66% all the time. And what you need is just second and third effort. It's not always going to be easy for you, but you gotta keep working, stay after it.
Huskies have dominated the boards tonight, out-rebounding Oakland 43-19. Again, Oakland without its 2 best players. Bethany Waterworth, the preseason player of the year in the Summit League, has not played yet this season with an undisclosed injury. And to take up her minutes has been freshman Olivia Nash, and what a job the freshman has done for Oakland, averaging a double-double, close to 12 points and 10 rebounds a night. But she's now missing her 4th straight game with an injured leg.
Well, and they were hoping that they might be able to get her into the game tonight, but you know, Becky Francis was a little bit torn. Do we try to get her into the game or save her to be 100% healthy for Summit League play? And obviously that conservative decision I think is going to pay off for them down the road.
The top 3 scorers on Oakland are all true freshmen. Only Weber State has more with 4. Their freshmen account for 54% of their scoring this season.
And Becky Francis was telling us before the game, they are so good. She said they are doing things that I didn't think they were capable of.
Brianna Stewart to the ground.
There'll be a foul on Stewart, I think.
It is. The freshman whistled for the foul.
And as a coach, you can handle that foul. Tussle, dive it on the floor, loose balls, no problem with that.
Yulia Vestin has it for Oakland. She's the only player on the roster not from Michigan. She comes from afar, long ways away. Vestin from Sweden. Competed in over 100 games with the Swedish national team at the U15, 16, 18, and 20 levels. Hamlet inside, and she'll go to the line.
Well, Hamlet did a good job getting by Mosqueda Lewis. See, when you dribble, when you penetrate, you got to get by. Get the shoulder past the body, and you'll get the foul call. Savvy play there by the redshirt junior.
Oakland 7 of 9 from the line tonight. Bria Hartley and Heather Buck hop off the bench for UConn. They'll check into the game as Mosqueda Lewis and Farris get a breather.
Well-deserved ovation.
Second free throw is good. Substitution for Oakland. Amy Carlton comes in, replacing Victoria Lipscomb. Banks thought about the 3 over to Heather Buck. Hartley cuts to the wing, now backs it out with 10 on the shot clock. Banks fakes the pass, drives in. Oh, what a move by the sophomore Brianna Banks.
As if the move wasn't great enough, I think the decision she made was even better.
Great defense from Brianna Stewart. She creates the turnover.
She has been all over the place defensively tonight.
Banks for three. Can't get this one to drop, and the rebound comes down to Aspie. Hamlet cuts to Veston, and a foul is called on Heather Buck. Brianna Banks with a pretty move. UConn still up big. UConn rolling over the Golden Grizzlies of Oakland 80-23. Brianna Banks in double figures for the 6th time this year. She has 11 points and a beautiful move a few moments ago.
Well, here, she catches the ball, penetrates. Now, check that out. She makes the great fake, because she could have thrown the ball to Jefferson in the corner. But what I love about Banks' confidence this year, she's making decisions that I don't think she would have made last year as a freshman. So much more confident, so much smarter, and that game smarts, that she knows when to, and that is the biggest key for players, to know when to make the right plays. And this kid right now is playing outstanding basketball.
She averaged 3.5 points per game last year. This season, just under 10 coming into the night, and she has 11 points tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew, she's a completely different basketball player, and I think it all starts between the ears. You know,
Banks brings the ball up the floor for UConn.
Last year, Banks took what Gino said personally. You know, and this year she's saying, you know what, I'm just taking what he's saying, and I'm doing the right things with it. I'm not taking it personally. I'm saying what he's saying, not how he's saying it.
Part of the maturation process from freshman year to sophomore year. Brianna Stewart with an offensive rebound. She has 11 rebounds tonight. A double-double for Brianna Stewart with 18 points. Hartley fakes the three, pulls up for the jumper, knocks it down. Bria Hartley, she has 21.
Oh yeah, she's back. And better than ever.
Hartley gets a hand on that one. 8 to shoot for Oakland. And we have a foul away from the ball, an offensive foul on Veston. Here's the answer to tonight's trivia question presented by Mercedes-Benz. Who has played the most games in UConn history? Kalina Green, 157 games.
Well, it was at almost this time of the year that she blew out her knee against South Carolina. She was granted another year, but Kalina Green was one of the great Huskies of all time.
Banks, three. Rebound down to Menifee. Oakland looking to run. Lipscomb for three. And Banks is there for the board.
Banks seems to be everywhere this evening.
UConn shooting less than 33% in this second half. That's after shooting 65% in the first half.
And you figure they had to cool off a little bit.
Harrington's long jumper off the mark. Mariah Jefferson has it. We thought we'd see Oakland press a lot more. Haven't seen too much of that from the Golden Grizzlies.
Well, you know, I think it was a wise decision. They're young. They're on the road against, you know, a great offensive team. I think it was smart to stay in the half-court set.
They're begging Banks to shoot, and she'll take it and hit it.
You look, almost a sigh of relief on her face.
She didn't want to shoot. She's saying, I'll pass it around. I'll work the shot clock a little bit, but if you're going to give it to me, why not? Rebound to Bria Hartley. 4:20 to go. Second half at the XL Center. UConn has cracked 100 points twice this year. Jefferson's three is good. The opener against College of Charleston and then against Colgate. First points of the night for Mariah Jefferson. Jefferson just accidentally poked Hopke in the face. Hopke seems to be okay. She has the ball now, drives in on Hartley, and a blocking foul called on Bria Hartley. Will the Huskies get to 100? They have 3:48 to do it. UConn women's basketball on SNY is brought to you by your Connecticut Chevy dealers. By People's United Bank, putting business know-how to work to help customers succeed. People's United Bank, what know-how can do, member FDIC. By Nissan. And by Connecticut Lighting Centers and Restoration Lighting Gallery. Nice December night for a skate. Why not? Supposed to get very cold this weekend, though.
It is. Maybe it'll start to feel a little bit more like Christmas. This 40 and 50 degree stuff. Come on.
Yeah, does the Como clan get a lot of UConn gear for Christmas?
Well, maybe they should. They don't have much. All my son wants is Patriot stuff.
Jefferson drives in, kick out to Brianna Stewart for three. You bet. Brianna Stewart now has matched her career high with 21 points. And it's the fourth time this season she scored at least 20 in a game.
She is just a scoring machine.
Carlton's three is off the mark. Another rebound for Stewart. She's 21 points and 13 boards. And remember, she did not start tonight for the first time this year.
Yeah, proof that starting does not matter. Just make the most of the minutes when you're in there.
Lipscomb pushes off, no call. Jumper is off the mark for Oakland. Rebound inside to Carlton, and a foul is called.
Yeah, Mariah Jefferson was boxing out a little too hard inside.
See Gino and the rest of the coaching staff wearing the green and white ribbons. Very touching 26-second moment of silence before tonight's game to honor the victims of the Sandy Hook tragedy. School's colors are green and white. The Huskies also wearing a patch in green and white with the letters SH for Sandy Hook. Final 2.5 minutes.
And Gino and his wife starting off that scholarship fund with an $80,000 gift. They were profoundly impacted and affected, as were so many in this country.
Banks in the corner for three. Can't hit that, but Hartley with an easy offensive rebound. Hartley for three. Banks the offensive rebound and the putback for Brianna Banks. 16 for Banks. Her season high is 20 against Colgate. UConn 7 away from triple digits. Banks pokes that one loose, trying to finish it off, and she does. And the foul. Oh, late whistle, but she'll take it.
Wow, what an effort here by Brianna Banks. Just not giving up. Not satisfied. A great steal that she created, and then the focus, determination. See there, the correct hand, that left hand in the passing lane to knock it away, and then the focus on the rim, knowing that there will be contact. That just shows you, we've been talking all game about mental toughness and focus, and that's a prime example of staying focused on the rim and not worrying about the body contact and the pain it could cause on the body.
Comes up short on the free throw. And a jump ball, the possession arrow will stay with UConn. Bria Hartley has checked out of the game. What a night for Hartley. She finishes with 21 points, 6 rebounds, 5 steals, and 4 assists.
Quite a productive night, I would say.
By far her best performance of the season. Missed the first 2 games with the sprained ankle, and this is the best Bria Hartley has looked since returning. Attendance tonight, 8,325 at the XL Center. Remember, Saturday's game against Hartford is a road game for UConn.
What an atmosphere it will be at the Chase Family Arena on the University of Hartford campus. The place will be rocking.
1 o'clock tip-off right here on SNY. Pre-game coverage at 12:30. Banks knocks that ball out of bounds, so it's Oakland ball, 1:08 to go. UConn 5 away from 100.
You know, you and I may have to carpool to that game. There's going to be no parking.
Well, Gino on the Gino Auriemma show on SNY said it'll be like Hoosiers. Nobody will be able to get a ticket and get into the building.
That's right.
Stewart kicks that one out. This will be the fewest points UConn has allowed this year. Wake Forest scored 34 in the Virgin Islands. Hamlet gives them 25. That's a 2.
I think she heard you.
Well, she's still got some work to do. UConn first in the country in average margin of victory, 40 points a game, and that's going up after tonight. Jefferson for 3, doesn't get the bounce, out of bounds to UConn. Now, Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis is back in the game for UConn. She's 1 rebound shy of a double-double. It would be the 2nd of her career. She also had one in the NCAA tournament last year against Penn State. Heather Buck inside. First points of the night for the senior.
Easily the loudest ovation on the evening for the hometown favorite.
Deep 3 is an air ball out of bounds, and that will do it. Oakland only made 7 field goals tonight. That's the fewest UConn has allowed all season. This one, blue and white from start to finish. 97-25 is the final.
A great team effort for their first game back after that 12-day layoff.
Tonight's player of the game, presented by People's United Bank, is Bria Hartley. 21 points, 6 rebounds, 5 steals, and 4 assists. She only turned the ball over once. Brianna Stewart also could have been a strong candidate for player of the game with 21 points and 13 boards, but Bria Hartley, in her finest performance of the season, is our People's United Bank player of the game.
And this will do so much for her confidence. You know, there's no problem with her physically with that ankle. And that's a great sign for the Huskies as they're going to be heading into Big East action.
Bria Hartley standing by with Kerith Burke.
Well, with respect to your opponent, they didn't have a chance to come back tonight. So how do you guys make sure you keep playing against the game of basketball and keep that intensity at the finish?
I think it starts with the coaches. They tell us to play like that all the time, regardless of what the score is. Come out and just play Connecticut basketball, make sure we execute plays and play hard. So that's what we did in the entire game.
The Huskies bench managed to outscore Oakland tonight. What's it like seeing everybody contribute with minutes?
It's good, especially, I mean, the girls you're with in practice every day. You all see how hard each other works. So for everyone to come out here and the score definitely means a lot to all of us.
You had your best performance of the season as well. Do you think we can finally put that ankle injury talk to bed?
Yeah, I'm hoping everyone stops talking about it because I don't want to hear about it anymore.
Finally, what did it mean to wear that Sandy Hook patch on your uniform tonight?
It definitely means a lot. I mean, to see a tragedy like that happen it is terrible. So we come out here and we just want to remember those families and everyone going through that tragedy.
Bria, thank you.
All right, we're going to pick another. I'm doing the fans right now. I'll get you next. Paul Newman.
Eloquent words from Bria Hartley. Once again, the final score, UConn 97, Oakland 25. UConn scored the first 14 points of the game, and they did not look back. Don't forget, coming up next, UConn will hit the road at Hartford. The Hawks are 8-2. Pre-game coverage at 12:30 on Saturday on SNY. For Kareth Burke and Megan Como, I'm Andrew Catalan saying so long from the XL Center. UConn improves to 9-0 after a 97-25 win. Have a great night.